Welcome, welcome, welcome to episode 28 of SEC Talks. This is your co-host, Caden the Green, and we are so excited to begin our new series of previewing all 14 of the SEC teams. We're going to dive deep into the upcoming football and basketball seasons and give our preview of what those teams are going to look like.
Yeah, this is your co-host, Hanley. And like we mentioned, we've got a couple of very special guests here with us today.
I'm Ben.
I'm Elijah.
And we brought them on because, like we said, we're going to be doing a preview for Alabama's basketball and football season next year. And these are two very much so in-the-know guys.
That's right.
And we wanted to bring on their expertise.
Yes, sir.
Because we don't know a ton about Alabama.
And I can't say too many good things about Alabama, so we had to bring some Alabama fans on.
Well, Jackson wouldn't have known anything about Alabama.
Also, very exciting news. We are doing a first YouTube video as well. So bear with us on that, guys. We're trying to work out the kinks on how to do both. So we're doing both. So just be on the lookout for SEC Talks YouTube video, and we'll put the link to that on our Instagram page.
But we will.
Hanley, you want to get us started with a brief recap of some SEC stuff real quick?
Yeah, so first we want to talk a little bit about baseball. Once again, Tennessee with a sweep against Missouri.
Rocky Top.
They are now 23-0. Sorry, 31-1.
Yeah, they lost one, yeah.
Who'd they lose to?
Texas.
Oh, yeah, thanks.
I don't know where I
Early in the
saw it.
season, and that was when Texas was ranked first.
Yeah,
Oh, that was at home. I saw that.
they're undefeated in the SEC.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've started the best ever in the SEC. I think the previous best start in the SEC was 10-0, and now we are 12-0.
It's extremely impressive.
It's crazy.
You got that one guy that throws 103, I think.
He got up to 104.
Did he?
Ben Joyce.
And
He's not even in our top 5 best pitchers.
right.
It's ridiculous.
So yeah, Tennessee is honestly looking like they're probably the favorite to win the national championship and win the World Series. Georgia's looking good. They're 8-4 along with Arkansas in the conference, both with 24 wins. They're going to be very high seed. Arkansas, I believe, is number 2 still, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think they fell to
Sorry,
six,
they're 6th
right?
now. Still a top 10 team. Georgia's still up there. Just to kind of go through the SEC that's ranked now, you got Tennessee at 1, Arkansas at 6, Georgia's at 13, LSU's 15, Auburn moved up from unranked to 17, Florida's 23rd, Bama moved in to 24th, and Ole Miss dropped from 9th to 25th. And Vandy dropped all the way out. I'm sure Jackson is happy if he
They dropped all the way out?
dropped all the way out. Yeah.
And then
Wow.
Florida also.
They got swept, didn't they?
Who?
Vandy.
No, I think
Or they
they
just 2 out of 3?
2-1. Yeah.
Okay.
So they got swept by us. I mean, that's not
I'm
something.
about to say you swept every team you played.
Also, Florida's new into the rankings
Yeah.
because they won 2 out of 3 against Arkansas.
Big time.
Yeah.
SEC tournament's next month. That's
I
crazy.
think about to say next
I
time.
almost said next week.
There's still like
I
5
almost
weekends
said next
left,
week.
you idiot.
It's next month. All right. No.
Yeah, Auburn took 2 out of 3 against. Did we play Vanderbilt?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. So we beat Vandy 2 out of 3. Alabama swept Ole Miss, right?
Yeah.
Al Mill.
Ole Miss.
Oh, big
Big
time.
Yeah.
Couldn't name you a player on it. The real crazy one in baseball, I don't keep up with it a ton, but Ole Miss and Mississippi State are terrible.
Yeah.
They're both 4-8, which is horribly low for them. Mississippi State's the defending champion, so they may still make the tournament. To be honest, like I said, I don't keep up with it a ton, but they really need to pull it together. I think there's 5 weekends left
That
before
sounds about right.
before the SEC tournament, because I was looking at it the other day. But really, I mean, it's crazy to think that one of those 2 teams may not make it because there's only 12 teams of the 14 that are going to make the tournament. So it looks like Missouri's probably a lock to not make it. Probably South Carolina too. So hopefully, Ole Miss and Mississippi State should make it. But that is the weekly baseball.
Yeah. I know you said you wanted to talk about some guys who entered the portal in the draft. You want to touch on that?
Yeah, so there were a couple of guys in the SEC with some movement. You had Castleton saying he was going to stay at Florida, play for Golden, who was the coach at San Francisco.
That's shocking.
Going to use his COVID year to come back. Which
it was shocking that he would come back even if Mike White was there.
Yeah, that's
Especially
a good
with the
move.
new
That's
coach.
big time for Florida.
Yeah, because he's probably a top 10 player in the SEC.
He'd be highly sought after in the portal too.
No doubt.
Oh, he would be like
he'd be a top
One of the top
5,
guys.
top 10 player.
He would probably be a top 5 guy.
He's
he
a
was
force down low.
He was like 17-10, like
Pretty
in the
automatic.
SEC.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was.
he's a good player.
He gave. I know. He gave Kessler a tough time. He gave Sheboy a tough time.
Mhm.
Like he really did some damage to a lot of the bigs in the SEC.
Yeah, and then you had Will Richard, who was from Belmont, committed to Florida, averaged around 10 a game, solid pickup. I think he's a younger guy too, has a couple of years left. So that was a big pickup. Then you had Shadon Sharp declare for the draft from Kentucky, and Jacob Toppin declare for the draft as well.
Thank God.
And then
Yeah.
He's not even good. I just hate
Their
the kid.
fans have been comparing him to Kevin Durant, so we'll see how that
Well,
goes.
you could see that, right? Kevin Durant. Jacob Toppin.
Oh yeah.
well, then also Brandon Murray from LSU is on in Georgetown.
Which I would like to note, Georgetown did not win a single conference game last year. They literally
He's a little sus right there.
He's gonna be a star.
They did hire what's his name from LSU? Nickelberry.
Yeah.
He was under Will
Yeah.
Wade, now under Ewing.
He was the
Georgetown.
interim.
Yeah, he was the interim in March Madness.
So he's the head coach,
He's just an assistant.
but Ewing is still there.
Ewing's still there at the moment, which I'd assume that they'll get a few guys from LSU possibly. There's been some rumblings of that.
Yeah.
And then the last one is, this isn't an official report, but there's rumors that Sheboy is coming back to Kentucky, which that would
I
be
just don't understand
crazy.
it.
I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest. I mean, he hasn't developed his game enough to be an NBA player, I don't think.
But like, what more is he gonna do? Do you think?
Possibly I could
Better
see
He's got to
shooting,
develop a shot.
but he can hit that
will.
mid-range.
I mean, he can. He's got
But like under Cal, do you think he'll like? How many bigs with Cal have had like a legitimate shot?
They haven't really
Davis, I
even
think
opened
Davis.
up the floor
Anthony
for their
Davis is
bigs
also like
to
a
shoot.
freak though.
Yeah,
him and Cat both.
It would be
are
like giving
shooting.
like
Yeah,
Pearl
yeah.
credit for like Jabari having a shot.
yeah.
But that's not why.
I mean, back with the transfer portal, Eric Gaines from LSU also. He went to UAB.
That's a big move for
Yeah.
UAB.
Yeah, which Jelly Walker did enter the draft. He's maintaining his college
Yeah.
eligibility.
I
Along with
wish-
Shadon is maintaining his eligibility. I'd like to put that out there. But
He'll go.
I think so. He's a
He
top 10
That's
guy.
He's like borderline fifth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Without
Shadon?
without ever playing a game, a lot of draft boards have him like fifth, sixth, seventh.
He went to Kentucky just to get to the draft, clearly.
More than likely.
Because you
Yeah.
still,
I mean-
if you're in the States, you still have to go to college.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
He's
if you
from
come-
Canada.
But did he come from
Sharp.
Canada to Kentucky?
Sharp went from Canada to Kentucky. He played at Arizona Compass too, which is like a prep
Yeah,
school.
That's
But
where
or no, it wasn't Arizona Compass. It was Arizona Dream City. Yeah,
Dream City.
that's where Johan played.
Okay.
Alex Chiku. They've put out some guys, but I think with Shadon, he would have been eligible either way, but decided to just skip his senior
That's
season.
weird then to me.
Yeah.
I don't quite understand how it works anymore because I remember
I
at
don't
one
either.
point it's an age thing, and another point it was about how long you were at a school. Because
Yeah.
I remember that one specifically because Auburn had Austin Wiley, and he enrolled early, but he had to stay another year
Yeah.
because you had to be in school a full year. But that's changed, I guess.
I think
now.
it's just now age.
It's
is
constantly
the big thing.
changing.
It's age, but it's not.
Because a lot of guys
Because
go,
you
a lot of
still
guys
have
go to the
to-
G League too, and then to the NBA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Unless the age is like, but it's not 19. You don't have to be
18
19.
probably?
It's
It's not-
18, I think.
But if it was just 18, then guys would be able to go out of high school.
yeah.
There's some
because a lot of guys are 18 in high
That's
school.
true. And maybe, I'm not sure
There's
what
some
it
that
is.
you like have to go to the next level and then go. So I don't know how it works, but I don't know whether any other Arkansas continues to grab guys out of the
Yeah.
portal.
They got the Mitchell twins from Rhode Island, two bigs. They're pretty solid. And then they also grabbed,
Yeah, they have another guy.
I think his last name is Graham. I can't remember his first name.
He's from Rhode
That guy,
Island, right?
no, he's from Arizona State, a forward that
I was thinking
averaged
about the twins.
around 9 a game.
He had to leave because Devin Cambridge was going to
That's
take
right.
his
The
minutes.
I was thinking
Cambridge
about
brothers
him.
are coming for him. But I think he's just going to be like a role piece.
I was about to say they have like 6 good high school players coming in.
Yeah.
Plus they've gotten like 4 or 5 transfers. There's a certain point where once you get to like 10 guys, anyone over that, guys just aren't playing.
Yeah.
They got,
Like you have to pick your guys you're going with, and it's more going to be a question of like whose 10 is better than the other 10.
Yeah.
Really, that 11th and 12th player just really don't matter.
Yeah.
they also got the I don't really know how to pronounce his last name, but like
Brazil.
Yeah, from Missouri.
Yeah. So they keep on getting better, but it's whatever.
That's about all for some big name guys that we're just going to touch over that have really.
Huntley Hatfield too.
That's a big one.
Leaving Tennessee. That's.
Dude, I would love to grab him.
He probably would have started next year, but
Yeah, he's good.
He can hoop.
Yeah.
I also thought the same thing about Justin Powell.
It's true.
And then, what happened with him.
I think Huntley Hatfield, his work ethic has been brought into question,
Really?
and his relationship with Barnes.
Mm.
Because there's no other reason to leave. I mean, he would have started.
Yeah.
More than likely.
And also Kenny Chandler, he entered the draft.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
that
declared.
was last week, I think.
That one was pretty expected, but you're right. Huntley Hatfield came out of nowhere. I think he could potentially land somewhere big.
He's probably going to be one of the bigger, more sought-out guys.
Kentucky and Auburn are two SEC schools that were involved in his recruitment.
Yeah.
But I obviously haven't seen like a list of
I figure
where he's looking at.
From what I've heard, we're probably going to go to Johnny Broom.
That'd be a stud.
Moorhead, yeah. So
He really good.
that he is, Ben.
All right. Y'all want to get into Alabama?
I reckon so.
Do the Alabama fans want to get us started?
Yeah, so, I mean, coming off of last year, obviously the runners-up to Georgia in the college football playoff championship, beat them in the SEC, but I think Georgia their defense, and, I mean, they were an elite team, just in the second matchup, really overpowered Bama. Some of the young guys for Bama didn't step up, especially at receiver when Mechie and Williams went down. But bringing in a good class per usual, some big-time transfers, reeled in 3 5-stars, 19 4-stars, and then 3 3-stars. Some notable guys that are on this list, some of our top-ranked guys. I'm not even sure you're going to see them play much this year. Ty Simpson, 5-star from Martin, Tennessee. Really good, passer who can scramble a little. His dad is the head coach at UT Martin, so, he comes from a football family. Probably going to be the third string, though. I know he is right now in the spring. Got Jalen Milroe. Jalen Milroe, which he's literally an athletic freak. He runs like sub 4.
He's a freak.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. That guy's a freak.
He's like a 4.4 guy. Kind of a little bit of drawing some comparisons to Hurts. I don't know. We're going to see him at 8A on Saturday, so we'll see. Jeremiah Alexander is a local kid from Alabaster, 5-star edge. Thompson kid.
Powerhouse, man.
Yeah, I think with him, it's just going to be, there's just dudes ahead of him.
I watched Thompson play this year when they played Gustavia, and, normally when there's a 5-star, especially like a D lineman or an O lineman or someone like that, you can tell who they are immediately. It's just not a knock on Jeremiah Alexander. You could not tell who he was.
I believe it.
Because Thompson was so good.
Yeah.
Like he was built different.
Yeah.
Like he just was not fat to be like an interior lineman. Like I saw him and I was like, okay. Like he's straight muscle.
Yeah.
He's like probably 6'4", 280 of just pure muscle. They had like multiple guys that I was like, oh my gosh. I literally couldn't tell who he was until they like called his name out.
Yeah.
But
there's a lot of guys. High school football has transitioned a lot into potential when it comes to ratings. Because a lot of these guys get rated from camps.
Yeah.
Like, these coaches aren't sitting at home watching their film and then rating them 5 stars. Like, they're getting rated from camps.
Oh, it happens all the time. Do you remember? Do you remember Harold Joyner?
Yeah.
Yeah. That guy was butthole, and he got like 23 yards against us one year, and then he got a scholarship to Auburn, and he left because he couldn't play.
What year was
he was a year younger than us, but sidetracked.
From Hoover?
He was at Vestavia and then went to Mount Brook.
He didn't go to Hoover.
Did I say Hoover?
Yeah.
Might be.
Yeah. I was confused.
He did not go to Hoover, Ben. I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't think he went over.
Doesn't Thompson have another 5-star? He's like a corner.
Committed
yeah.
to Bama. Tony, or they
Yeah.
have a corner committed that's Traquan Fagans. He's a 4-star. Then Mitchell's a 5-star safety, and Peter Woods is a 5-star defensive lineman, both that are 2023
Is it the interior guy?
Yeah, that's the big.
That's the dude that I saw, and I was like, oh, that's got to be him.
He's a freak of nature.
He looks like he's a legitimate 330. He is a.
I'm not sure how tall he is. He's tall
huge.
though.
Where does he go?
He goes Thompson too.
They've got 3 5-stars and a 4-star on their defense in high school.
They got I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think they have another couple of nationally ranked guys too.
They had when I looked at it 6 guys that were 3 stars or better on the defense.
Yeah.
Which, for those of y'all listening, that's not normal here because it's a public school.
Yeah.
It's like you have to live in that city. It's not like IMG or these guys in California. Yeah, no, they probably do recruit a little bit, but it's extremely impressive to do that here.
It is.
Yeah, no doubt.
And for you Bama fans too, that Thompson is the school that Talia Tagovailoa went to.
Yeah.
For those of you who didn't know. So,
that is true.
Yeah.
Yep. Ben, do you have anything to say about the recruits? I mean, there's Jahad Campbell, who was flipped from Clemson coming to Bama. He's an edge that can play really all over the place. He can play inside or outside linebacker. He can play edge. He's kind of a jack of all trades. From IMG, 5-star. He's been one of the ones that has gotten some talk and some run in spring practice with the 2s, with the 3s. So you may see a little bit of Jahad Campbell, but we got some guys that are coming in this year and that have left that are both big-time guys looking to replace some guys, and we'll get into that. Obviously, you had Mechie and Jameson leaving. That's 2 big slots to fill at receiver.
I want to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Alabama receivers, when they leave, it doesn't matter.
No.
It doesn't matter. Like, they lost.
You say that, though.
It doesn't. They continue to replace them every year. And with
they
with
do,
the
but
portal,
you're not going to see what you saw 3 years ago.
They picked up Georgia's
Burton.
second best receiver.
I get that, but you're not going to see.
You can do that these days.
And
they're not going to have 4 first-rounders.
More than likely.
Yeah, they're not going to replace that.
It's still going to be a really
but
good class.
But they didn't lose. You didn't say Bama's weak because they don't have those 4 guys anymore. They keep having guys. Like Mechie, he was coming on the scene when those other guys were leaving.
But who's there right now that we think is, besides maybe Burton is going to grab 1,000?
Ja'Cory Brooks.
Ja'Cory Brooks.
He was the guy who stepped up in the Iron Bowl and had the tying.
He got that touchdown, right?
And then he also had a big TD versus Cincy in the playoffs, had some plays, but he was a true freshman 5-star from IMG last year, and he kind of came on at the end of the year whenever J-Mo got ejected and then Mechie went down, and then also when J-Mo went down in the playoffs. So.
But losing, how do you say his name?
Agiye Hall. Agiye Hall, he was I can speak for, most Alabama fans. He was frustrating because last year in the 8A game, he had 100-something yards.
A lot of good catches.
A lot of big catches, and then he looked like, okay, this is the next guy up. But then you get into the fall and you see that he's suspended a couple times. He is tweeting a lot of stuff on Twitter all right, that's it, I'm done with the team. He was just a head case, it seems like. But hopefully he can find somewhere and straighten things out. But I think that his time at Bama was cut short because he was really in the doghouse a lot. So we'll see with what
And
happens.
when
with
you get in the
him.
doghouse with Saban, like you're in the doghouse.
Yeah, you're in trouble.
Like Billingsley lost. That's the reason Billingsley is transferring, basically.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to talk about that too.
Yeah.
But Cameron Latou, like he wasn't supposed to be the guy last year.
No,
And he came on the scene in that Miami game.
Yeah.
Like, what did he have? 2 touchdowns in that first game.
Yeah.
2 touchdowns in the first
He had
game.
a
Yeah.
decent amount of touchdowns all season, too.
Yeah, I don't know if he had like 10,
6,
but probably
7.
in that 6 to 8
Yeah,
range.
he's good.
He started off as an outside linebacker too. He was converted to a
Really?
tight end. Yeah.
Wow.
So
Yeah, because Billingsley was supposed to be like y'all's guy.
yeah, he's one of those new hybrid tight ends.
Yeah.
Like, and he was really athletic. Was really good with Mac Jones. Like, I mean, that whole team was good, but
Yeah.
he came onto the scene that year, and I mean, his effort and attitude just wasn't there.
Yeah.
So
He's going to what, Texas?
going to Texas, who we actually play this year, so
Wait, no, second
He
game.
may have his
Second
chance
game.
for revenge.
that could be the Jaleel Billingsley revenge game right there.
We're going to make a bold prediction of 200 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Ben, you're in for that one?
No.
No, he's not. Ben is not in for that one. So when it happens, I'm going to remind Ben about it.
Ben, you want to talk about any of the other
Yeah,
players
I
leaving?
mean, I don't really have anything to add on the players leaving, but I'm going to talk about the players that are like transferring or staying.
Okay.
Go for it.
So, I mean, there's a lot of notable people. Of course, Bryce Young, the Heisman winner from last year. Will Anderson, Toa. I mean, Cameron Latou, who y'all talked about earlier. And then we've got a lot of good transfers. And Eli Ricks from LSU, Jahmyr Gibbs from Georgia Tech, and Burton from Georgia. I mean, they're all really good players, and I think they all have like a lot of good potential in the Alabama team, like offense and defense.
Do you think that Will Anderson wins the Heisman? Because I would think preseason is probably, it's unfortunate for every fan base out there, but it's probably Bryce and Will Anderson
Yeah.
and
Stroud.
Stroud. Stroud's good too.
Quinn Ewers from Texas is a dark horse, I think, just because.
No,
you don't think so?
No one from Texas.
Yeah,
I just think
I agree.
if he's as good as he was advertised out of high school in
I've heard-
Sark's offense,
Zach Calzada. He's got a hoop
Dude,
runner.
I heard people don't like playing. Like, I heard Quinn Ewers is like not a good guy.
that could very well be the
Like,
case.
That could be a
like,
major
to win
game changer right
Heisman-
there.
To win Heisman as a quarterback and have nobody like you, like that would be impressive.
It would
Yeah.
That would be so impressive. But can we
No one on
even
the
move
team.
back to the fact that who are the two first players you said are coming back?
I think Bryce Young and Will Anderson.
Like, we need to focus on that. Those are arguably the 2 best players in college football.
Yeah, I
And they're
mean,
both
Are
coming
they both
back.
going to be junior? Well, they have to.
They're both going to
juniors.
be juniors,
I
yeah.
mean, they're both like, I was gonna say Heisman front runners.
Like, you could pick those guys 1 and 2 in the draft next year.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I guess it just depends on what you would need. Like, if you need a rusher, go with Anderson. If you're trying to build around a quarterback, Bryce. But I think Will Anderson may have like a historical season. That dude, you can't double team him, and then because you have Dallas Turner now.
I can take him.
Throw a loss on one.
So
So
left tackle. Show us your left tackle stance.
Maybe another time.
I just think that with Dallas Turner being, getting improved and being one of the guys who came on towards the end of the year last year, you won't be able to double team Will like you were earlier in the year.
Is he interior or edge?
He's an edge guy. He stepped up when Chris Allen went out last year. He broke his ankle against Miami, and Dallas Turner was a freshman. But, I mean, he was top 5 recruit, kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, normally freshmen, especially starting on the defensive line, it takes some getting used to. But against Georgia, both times he had some big plays. Against Cincinnati, he came onto the scene. So I think that he's gonna probably not get the love he deserves because you have Will Anderson, but that's gonna open up more for Will Anderson if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah.
Speaking of the transfer portal, do you want to talk about the Louisville wide receiver?
Yeah, first I'll talk about we got Tyler Steen today, offensive tackle from Vandy, which you're probably thinking, like, why in the world would Bama dip into Vandy to get?
He's a good
Jackson
player.
would have some words to say about Vanderbilt on the tackle right now.
He's a good player. Though.
I mean, that's what I had seen. I think it says a lot that Bama's willing to take him because we have a lot of talent there, but He started multiple years in the SEC, good quality player. And another guy that entered the portal today is Tyler Harrell, who's being heavily linked to Bama. He's from Louisville, averaged 29 yards per catch last year, runs a 4.3, and he just wasn't fed at Louisville, it looks like. Yeah, it looks like he could take on the Williams role if he comes to Bama, which hopefully we get him, but Haas doesn't seem too confident in him.
Hey, Jameson Williams, I mean, yeah.
Williams'
That's
numbers
what I
were
was
very
saying.
underwhelming at Ohio
Yeah.
State.
But
So we'll see.
Now he's first round pick.
Yeah, we'll see with him. Obviously, he hasn't made a decision yet, but it's looking like Bama could potentially add another receiver. So
Jahmyr Gibbs was a huge pickup too. Like he'll come in
Yeah.
and be running back one for you guys.
he's a mammal.
I would think so.
He's a beast.
He's a mammal.
He's
He's kind of a different back than we've had because normally we have, Brian Robinson, Najee, or move the chains guys, physical backs. But Gibbs has legit breakaway speed every play.
Even like y'all's more so utility backs like Kenyon Drake and TJ Yeldon, like they were still tall.
Oh yeah.
Like Jahmyr Gibbs is what, 5'10"?
He's shorter, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly how tall he is, but
So he is a different back than y'all used to.
yeah.
But y'all will be fine. Who's y'all's what's the second running back?
Brian Robinson.
No.
The guy returned.
Trey Sanders
Trey
is right
Sanders.
now.
Yeah.
But
Trey Sanders.
that is with Jace McClellan and Roydell Williams both tore their ACLs last year. So those guys aren't completely back yet, which Trey, he was actually really, really highly ranked. Maybe the highest ranked running back we've signed that I can remember. I mean, he was like a top 10 recruit. And that,
Trey
for
Sanders.
a running back, that's pretty,
he was.
that's kind of odd for a running back.
He was the guy who said he's going to win the Heisman
his freshman year. And he was, I mean, he wasn't going to win the Heisman his freshman year. He was playing a little bit, but he broke his foot. And then the next year he got into like an almost fatal car accident, like busted his hip up. And he's just been injury plagued, kind of played last year at like 75%, but he's looking to be a guy to step up and hopefully push for that running back number 2. Because I just don't think anyone's beating Gibbs out. I'll just be honest with that.
I think I've heard he's been giving the starters some troubles in practice.
Yeah, they said that all the running backs have looked good. Jamarian Miller, freshman, they've all looked good in practice. So, at the A-Day game on Saturday, you can't obviously take everything away from an A-Day or any spring game. But you'll
because TJ Finley did not look good on Saturday. I'll tell you.
Hey, I mean, that's what they're there for, just to get better.
I turned on ESPN to look at this thing. This is real quick. First pass I see, sails everyone, goes right into the safety's chest. And to make it even worse, the safety dropped it. So, I mean, I would have caught it. Oh, yeah, he sailed the safety didn't even have to break. It was like, oh, crap, the ball's going right to me.
All right, save some of that for our audience.
Oh, I'll save it, all right. Maybe Zach Calzada and the Silkworm treatment will come say this.
No doubt about it. Yeah, but I mean, and then we talked about earlier, Agiye Hall. He's on the move. Kind of had a weird turn of events at Bama. Looked like he had a lot of promise and was going to be good here. Really didn't get his chance until the national championship game because we had everybody out, and he couldn't really take advantage of his opportunity. He made a couple of catches, but he dropped some pretty catchable passes that were kind of head scratching.
Did he drop a touchdown?
It would have probably been a touchdown. It was like a really nice throw by Bryce, and
just went right through
Agiye just drops it.
I want to know from Bama fans, who do y'all think is going to be the breakout player? The guy who kind of just had to wait his turn last year, but is going to come on the scene this year and just be really good, not counting transfers.
Not counting
I'm
transfers.
not going to say Jagory because, he got some playing time. I'm trying to think of it.
My guy, that I have in mind, he started some last year, but it was because of injury to our 2 corners, Jalen Armour Davis and Joe, had ongoing injuries the whole year. But my guy's going to be Kool-Aid McKinstry. I think he starts every game next year, and I think he really shows more of his 5-star potential. I think he breaks onto the scene. That's my guy.
I don't really know. I mean, I guess Corey Brooks, but I said earlier that he did get some playing time, but he wasn't a run guy until like our receivers got hurt.
Oh.
So yeah.
Yeah, Kool-Aid, didn't he play in the nickel a lot last year?
Yeah, he played in the nickel, and the real thing I noticed with him is sometimes he just he would stay with the receiver, but he just didn't make a great play on the ball. Like he hasn't shown off his great ball skills yet, and I think that's the thing that just comes with getting comfortable. Like Pickens was a really tough matchup for him from Georgia when we played him. Pickens, I remember a couple times had just some really nice plays on Kool-Aid, and people were like, "Oh my gosh, Kool-Aid's not good," and it's just like, no, Pickens is like 4 inches taller,
Georgia's just a freak.
and he's really good, yeah. But I think Kool-Aid will really, I think he'll have a better year this year. That's probably, and then if I had to go with a number 2, I'd probably say Ja'Cory Brooks, like you said. So
Well, before we end the football segment, we want to see what y'all think about the upcoming season.
Okay.
And kind of hear y'all's thoughts on the schedule and a prediction, if you will.
All right.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, we can just go game by game. I mean, I think Utah State's a give me.
It's gonna be a close one.
I don't know.
It's gonna be a close one. Louisiana or no,
Texas.
Texas. There
I
you go.
mean, I think we'll beat Texas.
Texas will be a tough one, but
Yeah.
I think they don't have the
It will not.
experience to hang with Bama.
It will not be a tough one.
Is
Every
Texas,
year,
is Texas
Bama.
your second game?
It's our second
Yeah,
game
so-
in Austin.
Bro, every year Bama plays a good team, like their first or second game. Like they played Florida State a couple years ago.
I don't feel
Everybody
like
thought
any
it
of
was
them
gonna be
actually
close.
end up being good, though.
It's never.
It's just like an unlucky.
It's because Bama kills them at the beginning of the year.
USC
They literally just take the life out
Yeah,
of
they
them.
just take the life out of them.
Yeah, we did to Florida State.
I think
Florida
there-
State's been terrible, though.
I think there is something to
We
be
ended
said
up-
though to have high expectations and lose your first game of the year
Well,
and get demoralized sometimes.
I
Yeah,
get
like,
that.
especially when it's not close.
Well,
I think that's just
Like,
rough
if you
on
lose
a
a
team.
close game to Bama, that's one thing.
You still have playoff hopes at that point.
Yeah.
I think the weird thing, and it's like I said, it's not like anyone's fault, but these games are normally scheduled like 4 years in advance.
Yeah.
That's true.
And it's like super unfortunate that the teams that Bama has been playing early in the season have actually fallen off. Like USC hasn't been good.
Miami last year.
Miami really hasn't been
Florida
that great.
State.
Florida State has been literal butt cheeks.
I think it's the verdict's still out on Texas with Sark. They weren't great last year, but I would not
Yeah.
write them off yet. I'll just say that.
All right.
Quinn Ewers, man.
I'm telling you, he could be that guy.
When you
All right, but
The mullet.
Louisiana Monroe got to
Yeah.
win. Vandy.
Tough draw from the East this
All
year.
right, so
Vandy.
4-0. Let's keep going.
how do
Okay.
you get Vandy?
Arkansas could be, I guess, a game to watch.
That's why
Arkansas
that
is going to be
dude
good.
That's away.
That's why that Vandy guy transferred because he was.
Yeah, he didn't want to play Bama.
That's an away game. I mean,
What
You
is?
better watch out for
Arkansas.
calling on the Hogs.
that could be, I guess, a
That'll be a
close
tougher
game.
game than Texas, I think.
I agree. I think Arkansas, they added some of the most quality for
They got
you
Drew
can't really
Sanders from
yeah.
Alabama.
I don't know if you can judge their portal success like compared to Bama, but for Arkansas, I think they may have had the best portal success I've ever known. They got some really
They got
solid
They got
pieces.
old dude from Oklahoma.
Hasselwood, yeah,
Hassel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
good prospect,
I
could
He
be
was a
good.
big time receiver.
Yeah.
They got one of
Coming
You're
out of high
losing
school.
Traylon Burks. Too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say Arkansas. I'd expect us. I bet the line will probably be somewhere around
18
8
points.
8 to 10. Yeah, I bet
Something crazy.
Bama will win by
Is
probably
that-
pull
10,
away and win
is
by
that
double digits.
Arkansas?
It's at Arkansas though, so
Did they beat you last year?
No,
It
Texas.
was a really close game.
we won by 7.
It was a really good game.
It was 45 to 38 maybe.
It was like a really good game. I remember
Yeah.
the fake punt or field goal.
Yeah, that they ran down.
It was a really close game.
Okay, the next game is Texas and Alabama. I think.
I think we get our revenge
I
there.
cannot wait till we do our Texas A&M episode. I hate Texas A&M so much. They're the most overrated SEC team every single year.
I agree with that, but like we can't really talk because they beat us this year.
That
but,
doesn't
like,
even matter. Like, when I heard Jimbo, I'm not a fan of Jimbo Fisher. And when I heard him say something about they were the second best team in the nation this past year and they should have been in the college football playoff, like they were 8-4.
Yeah.
And they were not
They
good.
should have been in the playoff.
They lost,
There's no
they
doubt
lost to
about it.
Mississippi State, didn't
There's
they?
no doubt about it.
Like,
There's no doubt about it.
Mississippi State has that old freak of the coach. I can't remember his name.
Oh,
Mike Leach.
Yeah, he's a real freak.
he's a freak.
Oh, he's a freak, man. No doubt about it.
Stop saying that.
Okay, Johnny. Then we
Get to
play.
that UT game.
Yeah, Tennessee.
At Tennessee.
At Tennessee.
I think we extend the streak to 15 there.
I don't know.
I think Tennessee will be an improved team. You know, they gave us a good game for like 3 quarters last year. Kind of just ran away with it in the fourth, but I think Tennessee, that game, we should win. Really, a lot of this doesn't have to do with the other SEC teams. Like, I think Arkansas and A&M will be good. It just has to do with Bama returning Will Anderson and Bryce Young.
You said
So-
this is at Tennessee?
Yeah.
It actually might be a decent game.
It'll be a solid game, I think.
Tennessee, like with Hendon Hooker, like you said, we were in that game for 3.5.
Yeah,
3.5 quarters.
our DBs were burnt
And
toast
then
that game.
that miscommunication on that interception that we threw, that's what.
Oh, yeah,
that's
I
what
remember
ended
that.
it. But
Yeah.
if it wasn't for that, I think we could have kept it within a touchdown.
No doubt. I mean, that game was really frustrating, but I think, like as a Bama fan, but I think that just shows Tennessee's an improved product. Like they've really gotten better, and then got State at home, which I don't think that will really be much of a game. At LSU, I don't think that's going to be much of a game anymore. At Ole Miss will be tricky. Lane will play all of his cards to try to
They
knock
had a
off
good
Saban.
transfer portal too.
Dart, Michael Trigg, Zach Evans,
Evans.
yeah. That game may be our most losable game, in my opinion, at Ole Miss.
You think Ole Miss then Georgia?
Well, if we're assuming that we're going to play them in the
Wait,
SEC
y'all play
championship.
Georgia?
Also,
Not the regular season.
Ole Miss
Okay.
got, here's a starter, some U, his name is like Julius Bentley. I remember he's pretty good.
Oh, yeah, I don't know much about him, but
I bet Julius Bentley is a good guy.
yes, sir.
No doubt.
I'd say at Ole Miss or at
Yeah, that probably or at
Arkansas / Tennessee are they're probably pretty even.
You're not worried about Auburn.
Appreciate the prop.
Not exactly.
That was Zach outside. So.
Austin P. I mean, there's really no point going over that one. Then Auburn at home. I just don't see Auburn beating us at home this year. I mean,
We'll
crazier
see.
things have
We'll
happened,
see.
but
The Iron Bowl's always close. Though.
it is.
Like,
That's not true. It's close
Well,
to Auburn.
like last year, it shouldn't have been close at all.
That's true.
No, that game
At
was.
all.
That's not, it's
Crazy.
always close at Auburn.
It is.
It's not always close at Alabama.
That's true.
We've been pretty bad at times.
And then I personally, I mean, I know this is like the safe bet, but I just don't see anyone beating out Georgia in the East. I think we'd beat Georgia
Tennessee probably has the best chance, to be honest.
over
Tennessee,
Georgia. You think?
Tennessee,
To beat Georgia.
Oh yeah, Georgia. I will say this: they
Kentucky.
lost a lot. I mean, but they recruit at the same level as Bama, so I don't know if it's fair sitting here complaining about what all they lost. But.
I think Stetson Bennett at quarterback is going to catch up to them. I know
it
I
will.
know
Surely he won't be the starter this year, is he?
Yeah, he will.
Yeah, that's-
JT's in the portal.
JT's in the portal,
You
hasn't
can't-
decided.
You can't replace him. He's the one that he just got there.
I mean, you definitely can replace him.
No, you can't.
He's
That's
not
why
good.
Burton left apparently, is because he didn't want to post Stetson Bennett again.
Yeah, I mean they lost Pickens.
Come
Still.
back
I know
for
Pickens
six
was out the
years.
rest of the year.
Yeah,
But like you said, they recruit highly.
they've got.
They're pretty
great
much to the
play.
point where they can do similar stuff to Bama, where they just reload.
No doubt.
I would love to see Georgia fall though.
Yeah,
Love to see.
I mean,
To see Tennessee or Kentucky in the SEC championship would be a lot better.
yeah.
Someone besides Alabama
What do
would
we
also
think
be
about?
nice.
What do you think about Florida?
think they'll be
That's a
mad.
different story. Yeah, I think they'll be.
You'll have to
fourth in
learn
the
about
East.
that when we go over Florida's review.
Yeah.
Alright. I'll
Gotta
be
wait.
there.
Stay tuned, Ben.
Yeah, but I mean, I think Bama will win the SEC. I really think that we have a good chance to win it all. I mean, I'd have to see some of the other teams play
For
for
another year.
just another year, basically. But I
The
think,
year of Nick Saban's existence.
yeah, I don't know who else is projected to be just insane. Outside of us, Georgia and Ohio State should be really good. I'd probably say us and Ohio State will be in the championship.
I'm sure some weak Pac-12 team will make it in.
I could see USC making it with Lincoln,
Yeah.
but they don't really scare me because I don't think they have the physicality to play with Bama yet.
Well, did they get Caleb Williams?
Yeah, they did.
I think that
He's pretty good.
Clemson could get back there because the
Yeah,
ACC
they
got
could.
weaker again.
Yeah,
Losing
And
Pickett
then-
and Howell.
yeah,
I think Utah may be pretty good.
possibly so.
I really wanted Utah to go to the playoff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And they just couldn't. They just couldn't beat Oregon. Was it Oregon that they
Yeah,
can't?
they beat Oregon.
They beat
twice.
Oregon twice. It was
Oh, Oregon couldn't beat them.
it was somebody that they lost to. I really
I
can't
think
remember.
they lost maybe early on.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, well, why don't we move on to the basketball? We've spent a pretty good bit of time on football.
Yeah.
Well, obviously basketball just ended. But
There's already a lot that's been happening, though.
For sure.
if we just off predictions now, where do y'all think they're going to land in the SEC next year?
Bama,
Yeah.
I'd say 3 to 5.
I'd say 5, around 5,
Yeah,
5-4.
I feel like 5's a pretty safe
Maybe
pick.
3 to 6.
I think
don't know.
5 with the ceiling to obviously. I think there's not a ton of talent discrepancy between most of the top 5, but I'd say Bama's ceiling. I think they could, if they land the right guys, possibly could be as good as anyone, but say 5 is probably where I'd land right about now.
They recruit really well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm excited about the guys we've got coming in. Lost a lot, pretty much your entire team. So
Yeah.
That's the one thing.
the expectation should definitely be halted. I'd say that.
Yeah, it's tough to have super high expectations if you don't bring back
Yeah,
a lot of guys. If JQ comes back,
he probably wouldn't play half the year from what I've heard.
Really?
JQ,
Yeah.
I think, has basically declared.
That seems like it was the case at first, but there really are some people believing that JQ is still deciding. If I had to bet on it, I'd probably say he still goes pro, though.
Yeah.
if he comes back, it could help. But
Yeah,
I think we've seen a lot over the last few years that you do have teams that have all these freshmen that
yeah,
go far, but it's not near as guaranteed as having the
Yeah.
experienced
Yeah.
guys. I mean, that's why y'all were so good a couple years ago. You had
Yeah.
3 or 4 seniors.
hmm
I mean, Duke wasn't that old this year, but
They had the GOAT, though.
who UNC had Baycott, who's
Yeah.
a junior.
He's an absolute
Caleb Love's a
mammal.
sophomore. All of them had played. Brady Manick was a grad transfer.
yeah, he was.
Um,
I'm pretty sure RJ Davis stuck around a few years.
I
think
Leaky
he's a
Black.
sophomore.
Kansas was super old.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
So I think it's hard to bet on a super young team, but they'll definitely have the potential. But do you want to talk about the recruiting class a little bit?
Yeah, and before that, this one has to do with the expectations. Keep in mind, we already have known games. I mean, obviously the full non-conference hasn't been released. I believe we play at Houston, which will be really tough. Borderline Final Four team this year. Made the Final Four last year.
And then
The
bring
year
in
before.
Jarris.
Bring in Jarris, and I'm sure they'll get some transfers. We got Memphis at home, which their future is up in the air. Gonzaga in Birmingham.
Yeah, the BG.
Really?
The
Yeah,
BJCC.
Gonzaga in
That's
Birmingham.
actually
Are
a
you
fun
serious?
I'm
Yeah.
not trying to go to that game.
I
I
think-
don't know how good they're going to be, though.
I mean,
Timmy did go to the
They'll be
draft.
good.
I would
They'll be
say they'll be
top
good,
10.
but they're
Yeah.
not.
Top 10.
They're going to lose Chet, Timmy, probably Nemhard, Strother.
Yeah, Nemhard's a senior.
I would think that Bolton would probably go. I think that just those guards, they may have. I mean, maybe they see themselves filling a bigger role without those dominant post guys, but
Could be.
They need to join a different conference.
They
Yeah.
need to join the Pac-12.
I think that there was talks of them joining the Big East. Right?
I don't know. I don't know too much about
I think I saw
Gonzaga
something
outside of how good
about
they
them
are.
joining the
Yeah.
Big East.
And then you got the PK 80 tournament with Iowa State, Michigan State, North Carolina, Oregon, Portland, UConn, and Villanova that will be participating in.
You said Portland?
Yeah, I think it's in Portland, so they're just
Got it.
included basically. But along
Watch out for them.
yeah, for sure, they're
There's no
sleeper
doubt
in that
about it,
tournament.
man.
You heard it here first.
Ben said, "Watch out for Portland." All of you listeners out there, make sure to mark it down on
There
the
you
calendar. Portland.
I think those early tournaments are like the highlight of the year.
They're
For,
awesome.
like, they're
Oh
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like Tennessee's
Fun to watch.
going to like the Bahamas.
Man,
Yeah,
they
we
go
did
like
that a
every
few
year.
years ago.
Like,
Whichever tournament we're in is really bad this year.
Y'all are in the Cancun
So
Classic.
Yeah,
why is the Cancun one not good?
Looked like Bradley.
I think there's one other major conference team in there, and it's like
There may be one other, but
Kansas State maybe or something like that. It's somebody that's not very good.
we should win that one. I'll be a little upset
oh
if we
my
don't.
goodness.
Yeah, that one should be a cakewalk.
Watch out for Bradley. Ben, he said it here first.
Bradley and Portland.
But along with what we're bringing in, I mean, the portal's still fluid. Got
I'd
a
like to
few.
talk about the portal later.
Yeah, got a few targets that we can talk about later, but got 2 McDonald's All-Americans coming in, Brandon Miller, 5 stars forward, and then 5-star point guard Jaden Bradley. 4 of our recruits are top 60 guys nationally. Brandon Miller's number 11, Jaden Bradley's number 17, Rylan Griffin's number 49, Noah Clowney's number 58, and then we got a JUCO guy he's different ranking. He's a 3-star JUCO prospect, the number 3 JUCO guy. And
Who's
then
that?
Nick Pringle. Yeah, and then he's like I forgot to say the positions, but Griffin's a wing, Clowney's a big, he's a forward, could play some center here. Pringle's a forward. Then you got Namari Burnett, returns from his ACL injury. He's a former McDonald's All-American. And then we just recently picked up Mark Sears from Muscle Shoals, Alabama, went to Ohio, averaged 19 a game, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 41% from 3, 44% from the field, and 88% from the line. So really excited about him. Did you have something?
Oh man, can I talk about the transfer portal?
We
Yeah.
would love for you to talk about the
Okay.
transfer portal.
So Alex Sashik, who is gone, he appeared in 3 games?
3 games, probably played under 5 minutes the entire year. And in his entire Alabama career played under 5
That's
minutes.
more than the 4 of us played for
That's
Alabama
true.
this year.
That's very true.
No doubt about it.
I know many people are excited about Jusan Holt.
He's going to TikTok University.
Yes, he is.
He's noted for getting suspended and posting a TikTok with girls in his hotel room while the game was going on against LSU. Doing the renegade. But yeah, he was I'm not going to say much about Holt, but he's gone.
Okay. Keon Ambrose, I mean,
He probably played.
role player.
Role player's pretty generous.
I was gonna say, I don't think he played.
He
did
played like 10 games or so.
His role was a bench.
Oh, yeah.
He played that role real well.
He probably played under.
No one knew who he was.
Juwan Gary really was a role player.
That was a true role player.
Yeah.
That's by far our biggest loss to the portal.
And then Rojas. James Rojas.
Rojas is using his 6th year as COVID year, and he will transfer. A junkyard dog. If anyone's looking for a high energy guy, go out and get
You
some
know who
Rojas.
need him right now?
Who?
LSU.
LSU will take Rojas.
Yeah,
I can guarantee you
What
that.
about him going to Arizona State with Cambridge?
That would be a heck of a duo.
Yeah.
That would be the duo.
Devin Cambridge and Jimmy Rojas.
I don't think
That's
anybody
awesome,
beat
man.
them.
No, sir. That's James Harden-esque right there.
And then we've got Keon over the weekend and Shackle for about a week ago. They both signed with agents.
I didn't know Keon did.
Keon did either
That's
yesterday or the
expected, I
day
guess.
before.
Okay.
Keon, I don't know if they're NCAA certified because, you can maintain your eligibility, but
Right.
I would not expect either of them back in college. Then-
Shaq. Did you mention Shaq?
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
the other one that signed with an agent. And then you got JQ and JD that haven't made their decisions. I'd say
JD will go.
JD should
Yeah.
he'll be gone
Most likely.
more than
Be a
likely.
first-round pick.
Yeah, and Oates even said when he was on the Field of 68 podcast with Jeff Goodman's podcast, he's just a college basketball guy. He said that his gut feeling is that JD will go pro, but I don't really think that's a shocker to many of us because of his upside.
Speaking of the transfer portals, do you want to talk about players like potentially transferring?
So
We'd love to hear it.
Mark Sears was obviously already committed to Bama. He'll be on a visit this weekend recruiting Jalen Bridges, who's a transfer from West Virginia. He's a forward. I think he averaged 9 a game, shot like 30% from 3 this year, 40% from 3 his freshman year. Would just be a solid pickup, athletic big who can shoot. And then you had Jalen Llewellyn, who visited Alabama, committed to Clemson today, so he's off the board. But the thought was that he was the backup plan for Sears. So
he averaged about like 16, 17 points at Princeton.
yeah, pretty good pickup for Clemson. And then Antonio Reeves, I know we've been linked with him. 6'6" wing from Illinois State. He's from Illinois State.
Well, no,
was from Chicago.
Okay.
So looks like he hasn't really. He visited Nebraska this weekend. I don't think we get him personally, but that could be a name to watch.
Johnny Broom.
Johnny Broom, I know we reached out to him, but I don't think. I was telling one of my friends this the other day. I don't think Bama gets a big time big until we put one in the NBA. I think we've proven we can get wings and guards, but our offense we don't feed the post enough to get a big time big.
Is Dante probably the best big y'all had recently?
Out of recent, yeah, and then I think eventually Chuck could play pro.
Could, yeah.
Charles Bediako.
He also, I just don't see Johnny starting over Charles. He could, I guess.
I mean, I just think at that point it may be hard to convince Charles to even come back. Like if you are essentially like,
Because
okay,
he is good enough and big enough to
start most places. I think. I mean, especially with another year of development.
Yeah.
And then our recent one is Cario Oquendo from Georgia. I know Haas likes him a lot.
Yeah, that
He's
dunk
good.
on Visco.
He had that nice dunk on Visco.
He sure did.
That was nasty.
What you think about that one, Caden?
Well, Vescovy didn't jump.
He was setting up for a Georgia jump.
Sure did. A very European move, if you will. Try to take a charge.
I think his foot or like back of his heel was on the restricted area, so it wasn't and one.
And a ref can't call a charge on that. Like you just got to.
You just got to
Say
let
that.
it
They
roll.
will. Some of these idiots will.
If Jalen Williams is under there, that's a charge.
If Jalen Williams is under the basket, mark it down.
Hanley's grievance.
Jalen Williams. My grievance of the week is that Jackson is not here. That's
Jackson. Come on now.
unfortunate for him.
Forgot, yeah.
But Oquendo's a guy, I know that he only shoots 28% from three or so, which we're known for needing shooters and wanting guys who can shoot. But
Yeah.
I'm just personally a huge Oquendo fan. He's super athletic, can really defend, and I think his jumper would be developed here. So
Yeah, he could be really good.
I really want him, but obviously I don't know exactly where we stand with him. It looks like he released some kind of cryptic top 5 on his Twitter that we were involved in with just the emojis of different teams, and then it just says question mark at the end. And it was like, I think due to some people's interpretation, it was like Mississippi State, Mizzou, Florida, Bama, and Oregon. But obviously none of this has been confirmed, so I don't want to reach out here, but it was some kind of it was just a bunch of emojis of teams, it looks like. So
Who's the mouse?
I think that was supposed to be Missouri Tiger. I don't know though.
Uh-huh.
But those are,
Wow.
I don't know exactly who all those teams are besides, like, it looked like the Bama, Florida, and Oregon ones were pretty clear.
Yeah.
But
I don't know another Gator or Elephant.
no. And then, so, I mean, that's a name to watch potentially. But it looks like from what I've heard, the staff has really taken their time to find a guy, especially if we can get Bridges, a wing, that can really shoot it.
He'd be good.
I'd really like him, but I think we're going to take our time with the last couple spots. Yeah. And then, I mean, you want to talk about, the future with Nate Oates and what y'all think?
Yeah,
from an outsider's perspective.
For our last little segment, we don't have a lot of time left, but we just want to hear a little bit about Nate's been there, 3 years now?
3 years, yeah.
Going into his fourth season.
Kind of what we think about him so far. I know his major scheming is no mid-range, all threes or twos right at the rim.
Yeah.
What are y'all's thoughts on that? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Do you think that it needs to change a little bit? Just want to hear a little bit from y'all what you think.
You gonna go first, Ben?
I like it a lot.
Ben likes it. Everyone.
I like the backstage style.
Ben is a fan. Nate Oates, if you're listening to it, Ben Heath approves.
He approves.
I think Nate Oates is listening.
Well, there's no doubt.
No doubt about it.
Nate Oates is sitting at home on a Tuesday evening.
Listening to some SEC
He could be recruiting, but he is listening to SEC talks and our opinions of him.
I guess to piggyback off of what Ben said, I think he's done a great job really reviving the program, and the expectations are really high now, which is a good thing, I think. And he's brought in some good talent, but the one thing I'm worried about is Rylan Griffin, Brandon Miller, and James Bradley. Their games are heavily revolved around mid-range shooting, and I think Oates has got to give them the green light. Maybe not every single shot they take is mid-range, obviously, but I think they should have the freedom to shoot them, because I think that's all three of their best game comes from their mid-range. And
do you think that he'll change any scheming to draw up mid-ranges, or do you think it's just like,
yeah,
all right, if you're open, take it?
I think it would be more of like, hey, if you're open, you have the green light. But I don't think we'll ever see a Nate Oates set run out of the mid-range. We had one this year as an inbound, basically where we'd have JQ kind of wrap around a screen, and it wasn't really a mid-range, but it was like a deep floater he'd take off the inbound.
Sure.
And JQ's come out on Twitter and talked about how much he loves the mid-range, and that's a whole nother discussion.
Depending on the player, it can be a huge part of the game, because
I agree.
I mean, Jabari for us, like, he exposed.
He dominated in the mid-range.
Like,
He dominated everywhere.
I mean, like,
Paulo is another one that comes to mind.
like,
Paulo has a nasty mid-range.
I know.
and
she
if
was-
you can,
he was
go
like,
ahead, Ben.
she was like really good down low, but he also had a good mid-range.
If you can find someone that can play in the mid-range, like, from a guard standpoint, someone that can take a dribble and just stop and pop,
Yeah.
that's hard to guard. Not a lot of
Yeah.
guys none of the young guys really know how to guard that right now.
Especially when the game has transitioned so much to the three-point line.
Yeah.
If you can pump fake and get past that guy, but not have to go all the way inside to the big,
Yeah.
if you could just, that mid-range is crucial.
And right now, like a major piece of the mid-range that's really becoming open is if you run a lot of pick and rolls, if your guard is really good at running it and you have a decent big, as soon as you come around it, if the big stays low, you'll have a good opportunity to pop it. But like right now, that's probably an off-limit shot for Alabama guards.
Yeah. I had heard that people were like talking about Oates' philosophy with it, that he was okay with guys taking it if they were open, but I had seen several times this year, there were times where I think it was either Shackelford or Quinterly took one, and you can just see him livid over there. He's not a fan, but I think with the type of players we're bringing in, he may have to be a little bit more lenient.
I hear you.
I think that's probably the one thing I'd be interested about. And I also think, it's not really a concern up to this point because, like we covered, they weren't like huge losses, but it's not really ideal you lose as many guys as we did this offseason. We lost, between the portal and the draft, we could have potentially lost 9 guys, scholarship guys. We're just covering scholarship guys because we've had 2 walk on to the portal too, so that's 11 guys off of last year's team, which is that's a good amount. And I mean, no matter the talent that you're bringing in, I think that's a little bit like, all right, is this the thing we need to expect or what? Like, what's really going on? And I'm not saying there's more going on to it. I think he's really cleaning house with some guys, but that's not really ideally what you want year in, year out.
Right.
So
I'm sure it'll work out, but.
Yeah.
Fellas, we're running out of time, and we certainly do appreciate y'all coming on.
Yeah, thanks for
as
having
our
us.
first guest for the preview of each team.
It's big time.
Ben, it was an honor to have you on. But, Caden?
No, like I said, like Hanley said, we appreciate you guys coming on, and make sure you guys check out our YouTube channel and like and subscribe and comment and share with your friends. And look forward to talking next week about Arkansas.
The tentative plan is Arkansas.
So we're trying to get an Arkansas fan on here. If any of you guys are Arkansas fans, let us know.
Probably not, but
Probably not. Don't know many.
if you're not, it's
Actually, I know
okay.
2, but.
But, yep, we will see everyone next week.
All right, see you guys.
That was a long one.
That was.
I was like